Additional block definition settings. Over here, if we check allow exploding, that means when the block goes in, it's treated as one object. So no matter if it's made up of 500 or 1,000 different lines and arcs, it's all one object. So if we explode it, it brings it back down to its individual objects. So typically we want to allow exploding, but once in a while, the person designing the block might not want it to be exploded because it might create a very large file then, and usually blocks are lower in file size. So we would typically allow exploding. Also down here in settings, when we insert the block, we can choose the unit type, and usually we're picking inches. If you're in civil, you might pick feet, but if we're in architectural, in inches, mechanicals typically in inches as well. Also, we can choose a hyperlink. Now, a hyperlink is to a URL, so someplace out on the internet. This is really handy. For example, if this door is, let's say, an Anderson door or a Pella door, we can go right out to the door manufacturer and put in the specifications for this door. Or let's say this is a pump, hydraulic pump. We can go right out to the hydraulic pump manufacturer and put some specs information in there, so that's right with the drawing, and they maintain, those companies maintain that data for us. So when we get all this done, we say OK, and now it's created a block. Now, to verify that the block has been made properly, if we go back to that create block and we hit this down arrow, you'll see that there's actually a file there, a name, a block name associated already there. So that's one way of verifying that it has been made. Also, we can do what's called nesting of blocks. Nesting of blocks is when one block is inside of another. And with some planning, we can really do some impressive work. For example, let's say we made a block called chair, and we need another block called table. We can place a bunch of chairs around the table, and then we could actually create another block called conference table and chairs, let's say. And in that case, it would be the table, a block with table and multiple chairs around the table. And so therefore, we can end up with blocks, called conference table, that would have nested blocks in them called table and chairs. So many things will use blocks inside of other blocks, and we build what's called a nested block in that. So there we have the whole process. That concludes the whole process on creating a block.